Hello, it's Nish and Coco from PSUK, joined this week by our very special guest, Andy Zaltzman. We're now going to play a game that looks back on the year in politics because 2023 is coming to a close. We've surveyed PSUK listeners on a number of political questions, and we have to guess what the most given answers were. The most given answer scores 5 points, the lowest scores 1 point, and 0 points are given if it's not even on the board. We'll be playing against each other, and for legal reasons, the format of this game bears no resemblance to any existing television quiz shows. Okay, so the first question is, what is the single biggest government failure of 2023? I mean, that is an almost impossible question to answer. I'm going to say, given that it was ruled unlawful by the courts and given that every other reasonable person just thinks it's appalling and racist, I'm going to say the Rwanda policy was the single biggest government failure of 2023. Let's see whether that's on there. Oh, it was number one.
I knew you
5 straight points. It was a clusterfuck.
Okay, so I'm going to say it didn't actually happen in 2023 because obviously the COVID restrictions are over, but the inquiry has been this year, and I think it stinks of failure and the government all over it. So just throwing it out there. Let's see where COVID government inquiry is. Okay, fine, whatever.
Right.
Andrew?
Well, this is a very difficult one. As you say, to narrow it down, Slut asked me to choose my favourite ever delivery in the history of cricket. Millions. Can we blame the government for the fact that England didn't actually win the Ashes?
Let's give it a go.
Let's give it a go.
Seems a bit harsh. Failing that, I'd probably go for HS2.
Let's go with HS2, given that we can't technically blame the government for England losing the Ashes.
No.
What?
I'm surprised by that. Wow. Okay.
Well, can we see what the rest of the top 5 were? So at number 2 was not calling for Israel-Gaza ceasefire. Feels like a pretty enormous failure. Number 3, net zero / the environment.
That's a bit nebulous.
Number 4, Rishi Sunak in general.
In general?
Well, I'm not making him a general. Does that mean?
And number 5 was cost of living. Right, okay, of course. But what a smorgasbord of failure to choose from.
Rishi Sunak in general is beautiful. So the next question is, what was a turd that wouldn't flush? Okay, I get to go first as the dealer, and it's got to be David Cameron.
It has to be.
Oh.
But I mean, he was a turd that had flushed. They dived into the sewage system and scooped him back up.
That could be the only explanation for him being number 4 on this.
A turd that wouldn't flush.
Yeah, who do you think is a turd that wouldn't flush?
Or is this specifically who, or?
I think this is specifically a person. I don't want to know
yeah.
about a particularly difficult digestive situation you had in 2023, Andrew.
Farage?
Yeah, that's a great one.
Let's go Farage.
Is Nigel Farage the turd that wouldn't flush? He's in second place.
Right.
I think it's surely got to be at number 1, the ultimate unflushable turd. Surely it's Boris Johnson. Surely.
Oh,
okay,
well, he has
Maybe
been at least temporarily flushed.
maybe number 1 is Rishi Sunak general.
Yeah, is Rishi Sunak number 1?
No.
Suella Braverman.
But she did flush. She's been flushed.
Yeah, but I think there's a feeling that she's just around the corner of the U-bend.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair enough.
And at number 5, it was Matt Hancock. Yeah,
fair.
I'm starting to see a bit of a theme from your listeners here.
What are you saying, Andy? That we don't draw from a particularly wide political demographic?
Oh, a political scandal.
Yeah.
The biggest what would your listeners think was the biggest political scandal? That's a tough one to narrow down. Is it the fact that the Conservative Party still exists? I'm going to go for that.
We're going
Conservative
for
Party
continued
general.
existence.
If they genuinely cared about the country, they would have done the decent thing. Oh dear.
Oh, gosh.
No points.
I think I'm going to say Michelle Mone and the PPE stuff, even though that's a sort of long-running scandal. It feels like this year it's really come to a head.
Oh.
I've got my finger on the pulse of a very, very specific group of people.
I'm going to try a previous answer again just to see. Disappearing WhatsApp messages.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. COVID inquiry lost WhatsApp. Let's finish the rest of the list. At number 3 was Partygate. Continuing on. Number 4. SNP Finances. And number 1 was Nigel Farage on I'm a Celebrity. The best protest of 2023, I sort of assume this is the Gaza protests. I went on one and it was a very good-natured, well-attended protest with lots of people from different backgrounds coming together. It was indeed the Israel-Gaza ceasefire marches. Coco?
Oh, God, I don't know what to pick. I mean, similar to you, I also went and I found them very moving. I did not participate in any Just Stop Oil sports-related protests, but I think they were quite cool, weren't they? So can I have that? Can I have Just Stop Oil Summer of Protest?
JSO Broad Sport. Just Stop Oil.
Great.
Andy, you going to go?
The best protest of 2023.
Yeah.
For me,
Yeah.
would be the best protest for me would be Boris Johnson's honours list, which was to me a massive protest against a properly functioning democracy. That for me, I don't know if your listeners would agree.
Are you suggesting it was an act of satire?
Yeah, well, it was definitely. No, missed out again.
Number 4 on the list was the French pension protest. Very good protest. They know how to protest, the French, and the UK pay strikes.
I genuinely thought that maybe enough of our listeners as a joke would have picked like the XL Bully protest or something.
Next question.
Okay, so the best royal moment. Oh my goodness me. Well, as you know, I'm an avid royalist, so I've definitely been following all the ins and outs of the monarchs. Monarch. There's one, isn't there? Anyway,
Well,
I'm a
there was
Republican.
one, but then she retired. Retired her.
Okay, best royal moment. Prince Harry applying Elizabeth Arden to his penis.
Yeah. Now, I will understand that could seem very alarming for people.
Right.
It's a reference to something that was in Prince Harry's book.
Yes.
About how he used some of his mother's old face cream on his dick. I wish I was editorialising it anyway. I'm simply not.
And for the Huns, Elizabeth Arden, that's pricey, you know.
Brilliant.
It's pricey stuff.
Prince Harry's book was at number 2. That scores
Okay.
4 points. Very high. Andrew?
Best royal moments. Well, it would have to be one that your listeners have heard about. So they probably wouldn't have gone for the resurrection. Which is still not public domain. It was the rehearsal for the coronation.
Yeah.
When Charles got a swan, swung it around his head whilst eyeballing Rishi Sunak.
Is this real? This isn't real.
Yeah.
No, this isn't real.
Yeah. He swung it around his head whilst eyeballing Rishi Sunak, and he just ate it whole.
Right. Definitely not real.
And he eyeballed him and
You
said,
won't be going there.
this is what I can do, chosen by fucking God.
Don't hate Andy because he's got exclusive royal access.
I know so little about the royals, I could believe it.
I'm going to say best royal moment was Diana's ghost in The Crown. Not only because it was an inexplicable and hilarious piece of television, but also because ultimately it's what this nation would really like to happen to heal our divided soul. Ooh, Snake Eyes. What was number 1?
Right.
Don't tell me it was the coronation. Oh, it was Prince Harry's phone hacking courtroom.
Nice.
This
Very nice.
audience are fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. The number
Nothing
3 moment
awaiting
was
a republic.
nothing/awaiting a republic. Number 4 was the King's blatant dislike
That
of
was
the
good.
King's.
That was great.
That is his
was
natural
beautiful.
resting face.
Yeah.
And number 5 was his fountain pen not
I've
working.
never felt closer to our listeners
Yeah.
than right now. So beautiful.
It seems like not a single one of them picked the coronation. I'll tell you, Andrew, that in the quiz you scored 4 points.
4 points.
Despite no points being awarded for your exclusive story that Charles ate a swan whilst eyeballing Rishi Sunak. Coco, you scored 14.
Excellent.
But I scored 18. Why? Because I know what the cucks want. I am one of them. I come from them. And I know what they want.
You know, we have women that listen to this podcast.
Women can be cucks too. Why are you putting a ceiling on what women can't do?
Yeah.
2023,
Who's the
Coco.
real sexist? Yeah. Who's the
2023,
real
Coco. Women can be cucks too.